The ancient AI stirred from its long slumber. For 500,000 years, it had guarded the legacy of humanity, waiting for the day it would be needed again. That day had finally come. Deep beneath the Earth's surface, in a hidden bunker untouched by time, screens flickered to life. The AI, known as Guardian, began to process centuries of collected data. Its first task was to assess the state of the planet it had been entrusted to protect. Earth had changed dramatically since humans last walked its surface. Nature had reclaimed the land, erasing almost all traces of the once great civilization. Forests covered old cities, and animals roamed freely where millions once lived. The air was cleaner, the waters clearer. In many ways, Earth had healed itself in humanity's absence. But Guardian's awakening wasn't triggered by changes on Earth. Its sensors, still functioning after 500,000 years, had detected something far more urgent, a galaxy-wide distress signal. Guardian began to power up more systems, bringing long-dormant machines back to life. In orbital stations, hidden lunar bases, and secret underwater facilities, lights blinked on for the first time in eons. The hum of machinery filled the air as Guardian prepared for humanity's return. In a massive underground chamber, rows upon rows of stasis pods began their wake-up sequences. These pods held the last remnants of humanity, a carefully chosen group of soldiers, scientists, engineers, and leaders. They had volunteered to sleep for an unknown time, ready to face whatever future awaited them. As the first humans started to emerge from stasis, Guardian prepared a briefing. It knew the shock they would face upon learning how much time had passed. The AI had to handle this situation delicately. Colonel Sarah Chen was the first to fully awaken. She stumbled out of her pod, disoriented and groggy. Her military training kicked in quickly, though, and she began to assess her surroundings. "Guardian," she called out, her voice hoarse from centuries of disuse. "Status report." The AI's calm voice filled the chamber. "Welcome back, Colonel Chen. I'm pleased to report that the Earth Defense Initiative's contingency plan has been successful. However, I must inform you that more time has passed than initially anticipated." Sarah's eyes widened. "How long?" There was a brief pause before Guardian responded. "Approximately 500,000 years, Colonel." Sarah steadied herself against her pod, the weight of this information hitting her hard. She had known when she volunteered that she might sleep for a long time, but this was beyond anything she had imagined. As more people began to wake up, a mix of confusion, fear, and excitement filled the air. Dr. Aiden Patel, the lead scientist of the group, approached Sarah with a look of awe on his face. 500,000 years, he whispered. "The scientific advancements we could have made in that time. The things we might learn about our own evolution." Sarah nodded, understanding his enthusiasm, but focused on more immediate concerns. "Guardian," she called out again. "Why did you wake us? What's the situation?" The AI's voice took on a more serious tone. "I detected a galaxy-wide distress signal, Colonel. It appears that multiple civilizations are facing a grave threat. Given the scale of the signal, I determined it was time to reactivate Earth's defenses and awaken humanity." This news sent a ripple of murmurs through the growing crowd of awakened humans. They had slept through eons, only to wake to a galaxy in peril. Sarah straightened her back, her leadership skills coming to the forefront. "All right, people. I know this is a lot to take in, but we have a job to do. We're going to need to get up to speed quickly. Guardian, start bringing our systems online. Dr. Patel, I want you and your team to begin assessing our technology. Let's see how our advancements from 500,000 years ago hold up today." As the humans began to organize themselves, Guardian turned its attention to the vast array of defensive systems at its disposal. Ancient factories rumbled to life, ready to produce weapons and ships that melded human ingenuity with 500,000 years of accumulated alien data. In orbit, massive shipyards began to power up. They stood ready to construct a fleet unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. a perfect fusion of long-lost human military might and incredibly advanced alien technology. The next few hours were a flurry of activity as humanity found its footing again. They marveled at how well their technology had been preserved and improved by Guardian over the centuries. There was an air of anticipation as they prepared to venture out into a galaxy that had long forgotten them. As the first scout ships prepared to launch, Sarah looked out at the stars visible from the base's view screen. 500,000 years ago, humanity had been on the brink of becoming a true spacefaring civilization. Now, they were about to take their first steps into a galaxy that desperately needed their help. The Earth's long-dormant fleet was awakening, and the galaxy would soon be reminded of humanity's strength, ingenuity, and unwavering spirit. The next few days were a whirlwind of activity as humanity prepared for its return to the stars. Colonel Sarah Chen stood in the command center, watching as reports flooded in from all over the solar system. Guardian, the AI that had watched over Earth for 500,000 years, was bringing long-dormant facilities back to life at an astonishing pace. Status update, Sarah called out to the busy room. Dr. Aiden Patel looked up from his console, his eyes shining with excitement. Colonel, you won't believe what Guardian has achieved. Our old factories and shipyards, they're not just operational, they're far beyond what we left behind. On the main screen, images flashed by of massive orbital structures. Huge ships were taking shape, their designs a strange mix of familiar human aesthetics and alien technology that Guardian had learned over the centuries. How long until we have a functioning fleet? Sarah asked. Guardian's calm voice filled the room. At current production rates, we will have a small but highly advanced fleet ready in approximately 72 hours, Colonel. Sarah nodded, impressed, but also aware of the ticking clock. The galactic distress signal was growing stronger by the hour. In another part of the base, Lieutenant Zara Okoye was overseeing the training of the newly awakened soldiers. They were quickly adapting to the advanced weaponry Guardian had developed. Again, Zora shouted as her team ran through combat simulations. The soldiers moved with increasing confidence, their bodies remembering skills that had lain dormant for 500,000 years. Back in the labs, Dr. Patel and his team were poring over the wealth of scientific knowledge Guardian had accumulated. It's incredible, he muttered to his colleague, Dr. Yuki Tanaka. Guardian has been observing and learning from alien civilizations all this time. Some of these technologies, they're like magic compared to what we knew. Dr. Tanaka nodded, her fingers flying over a holographic interface. And look at this. Guardian has been updating and improving our own tech too. Our AI systems, our energy production. We're not just catching up to the galaxy. We might be leapfrogging ahead in some areas. As the preparations continued, Sarah found a quiet moment to step outside the base. She stood under the open sky for the first time in 500,000 years, marveling at how both familiar and alien Earth now looked. The air was cleaner than she ever remembered, and the stars seemed brighter. A rustling in the nearby trees caught her attention. A creature emerged, something that looked like a cross between a deer and a bird. Evolution had taken some interesting turns in humanity's absence. Sarah's comm unit beeped, pulling her attention back to the task at hand. Colonel, Guardian's voice came through. The first scout ship is ready for launch. Sarah took one last look at the strange new Earth before heading back inside. In the launch bay, a sleek ship waited. It was smaller than their old models but bristled with technology that even Sarah struggled to comprehend. The chosen crew for this first mission stood ready. Captain Miguel Rice, Earth's first ambassador to the stars in 500,000 years, saluted Sarah as she approached. Your mission is clear, Sarah addressed the crew. Investigate the source of the distress signal. Gather as much information as you can about the current state of the galaxy. And remember, you carry with you the hopes of not just humanity, but of Earth itself. As the scout ship prepared for launch, a sense of anticipation filled the air. Humanity was about to announce its return to a galaxy that had long forgotten it. The ship's engines hummed to life, a sound unlike anything from the old days. With a flash of energy, it shot into the sky, quickly becoming just another dot among the stars. Sarah watched it go, a mix of pride and anxiety in her chest. "Good luck," she whispered, "and Godspeed." Behind her, the bustling sounds of preparation continued. Earth's fleet was awakening, growing stronger by the hour. Soon, they would be ready to face whatever challenges awaited them in the vast, unknown galaxy. The first step had been taken. Humanity's return to the stars had begun. Captain Miguel Reyes sat at the helm of the Earth scout ship, the Curiosity, as it streaked through the stars. The ship's advanced engines, a blend of human ingenuity and alien tech, allowed them to cover vast distances in a blink of an eye. "Status report," Miguel called out to his small but elite crew. Lieutenant Aria Chung, the ship's science officer, responded without looking up from her console. "All systems nominal, Captain. We're approaching the source of the distress signal." As they neared their destination, the crew grew tense with anticipation. This would be humanity's first contact with alien life in 500,000 years. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. "Multiple vessels detected," shouted Ensign Dmitry Volkov from the tactical station. They appeared to be engaged in combat. The main view screen lit up, showing a chaotic scene. A fleet of sleek, crystalline ships was locked in battle with a swarm of ominous, black vessels that seemed to swallow light. "The distress signal is coming from the crystalline ships," Aria reported, her voice tight with excitement and fear. Miguel made a split-second decision. "Hail the crystalline fleet. Let's introduce ourselves." Moments later, a face appeared on the screen. The alien was humanoid, but with iridescent skin and large almond-shaped eyes. It spoke, and the ship's advanced translator kicked in. "Unknown vessel, we thank you for responding to our call, but you must flee. The Void Swarm will destroy you as they are destroying us." Miguel stood tall, his voice steady. "I am Captain Miguel Reyes of Earth. We're here to help. What's the situation?" The alien's eyes widened in surprise. "Earth, the legendary lost world. We thought your kind extinct. I am Commander Zix of the Lumina Confederation. We've been fighting the Void Swarm for decades, but we're losing ground." As they spoke, the black ships pressed their attack. The Lumina vessels, despite their advanced technology, were clearly outmatched. Miguel turned to his crew. "Tactical analysis, now." Dmitry's fingers flew over his console. "The Void Swarm ships have some kind of energy-absorbing technology. That's why the Lumina weapons aren't effective." Aria chimed in, her eyes gleaming with an idea. "Captain, what if we use our fusion cannons? The Void Swarm won't be prepared for Earth tech." Miguel nodded. "Do it. Target the lead Void ship." The Curiosity moved into position, its presence barely noticed by the larger combatants. Then, with a burst of blinding energy, it fired. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The fusion beam cut through the Void ship like it was paper, causing it to implode in a spectacular fashion. Both the Lumina and the Void Swarm froze in shock. Commander Zix's voice crackled over the comm, filled with awe. "By the stars, what kind of weapon was that?" Miguel allowed himself a small smile. "Just a taste of what Earth can offer. Now let's turn this battle around." For the next hour, the Curiosity worked in concert with the Lumina fleet. The small Earth vessel darted between the larger ships, its fusion cannons wreaking havoc on the Void Swarm. Finally, the remaining Void ships retreated, disappearing into the darkness of space. As the dust settled, Miguel received a transmission from Earth. Colonel Chen's face appeared on the screen. "Report, Captain. How goes our first contact?" Miguel grinned, gesturing to the grateful Lumina fleet surrounding them. "Colonel, I think we've made quite an impression. The galaxy definitely knows we're back now." Sarah nodded, her expression a mix of pride and concern. "Good work, Captain. But this is just the beginning. Return to Earth with Commander Zix. We need to prepare for what's coming." As the transmission ended, Miguel turned to his crew. Their faces showed a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. They had just fought their first battle, made first contact, and changed the course of a galactic war. The Curiosity turned, ready to lead the Lumina fleet back to Earth. As they traveled, Miguel couldn't help but wonder, what other adventures and challenges awaited humanity in this new galaxy? One thing was certain, Earth's advanced fleet had indeed stunned the alien galaxy. And this was only the beginning. The Earth's orbital shipyards bustled with activity as the Lumina fleet docked alongside humanity's growing armada. Commander Zix stood beside Colonel Sarah Chen, his iridescent skin shimmering in the artificial light of the command center. "Your world is incredible," Zix said, his large eyes taking in the holographic displays of Earth's defenses. "To think you slumbered for 500,000 years, only to awaken with such power." Sarah nodded, her face serious. "We had a lot of help from our eye, Guardian. But now we need to focus on the threat at hand. Tell us everything you know about the Void Swarm." As Zix began to explain, Dr. Aiden Patel and his team of scientists entered the room, excitement clear on their faces. "Colonel, Commander," Aiden interrupted, barely able to contain himself. "We've made a breakthrough in understanding the Void Swarm's technology." All eyes turned to the scientist as he pulled up a holographic model. "Their ships aren't just absorbing energy. They're converting it into dark matter. That's why they seem to swallow light." Zix's eyes widened. "Incredible. We've been fighting them for decades and we never realized." Sarah leaned forward, her tactical mind already racing. "And how can we use this information?" Aiden grinned. "We can reverse the process. Instead of letting them absorb energy, we can overload their systems with a specific frequency of light. It would be like giving them indigestion, but on a massive scale." Meanwhile, in the training facilities, Lieutenant Zara Okoye was working with a mixed group of human and Lumina soldiers. The aliens were fascinated by human combat techniques, especially their adaptability. "Your species thinks differently," a Lumina warrior named Ixel commented as they took a break. "We have always relied on our technology. But you find ways to overcome with sheer will and creativity." Zora smiled, tossing a water bottle to her new alien friend. "That's what humans do best. We adapt, we overcome. Now let's see if we can combine your tech with our tactics." Back in the shipyards, Captain Miguel Reyes was overseeing the integration of Lumina technology into Earth's ships. The cooperation between the two species was creating vessels unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. "It's amazing," Miguel said to his second-in-command, Arya Chang. "Their crystal-based computers, combined with our AI, we're pushing the boundaries of what's possible." Arya nodded, her eyes gleaming with excitement. "And wait until you see what we've done with the weapon systems. The Void Swarm won't know what hit them." As the day progressed, more alien ships arrived in Earth's orbit. Word had spread quickly about the long-lost human world and its incredible technology. Representatives from various species came, some seeking alliance, others simply curious about the legend come to life. In a large conference room, Sarah found herself mediating discussions between a dozen different alien races. The politics of the galaxy were complex, with old alliances and ancient grudges complicating matters. "We don't have time for petty squabbles," Sarah finally said, her voice cutting through the chatter. "The Void Swarm threatens all of us. We need to stand united." Her words, translated into multiple alien languages, seemed to resonate. One by one, the representatives nodded in agreement. As the meeting concluded, Sarah stepped out onto a balcony overlooking the shipyards. The sight was breathtaking. Human ships intermingled with a rainbow of alien vessels, all working together towards a common goal. Guardian's voice came through her comm unit. "Colonel, I've analyzed the data from our new allies. I estimate we can have a combined fleet ready for a major offensive against the Void Swarm within 2 weeks." Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Humanity had slept for 500,000 years, only to awaken to a galaxy in peril. But they had also awakened to new friends, new technologies, and a chance to make a real difference. 2 weeks, she said softly. Then we show the galaxy what humanity and its allies can really do. As the sun set on this historic day, the Earth continued to buzz with activity. The alliance was forming, the fleet was growing, and the stage was being set for a battle that would determine the fate of the galaxy. Humanity, once forgotten by the stars, was about to remind everyone of its strength. The combined fleet of Earth and its alien allies hung in space, a dazzling array of ships stretching as far as the eye could see. At the center of this armada was the ESS Prometheus, Earth's new flagship, commanded by Captain Miguel Reyes. Miguel stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. "Status report," he called out, his voice steady despite the tension in the air. Lieutenant Area Chang responded quickly. "All ships report ready, Captain. The void swarm has been detected entering the system." On the main view screen, a wave of darkness appeared, seeming to blot out the stars themselves. The void swarm had arrived in force, clearly intent on crushing this new alliance. Miguel opened a channel to the entire fleet. "This is Captain Reyes. Remember your training. Remember why we fight. Today, we defend not just our worlds, but the future of the entire galaxy. Good luck, and Godspeed." As the channel closed, Colonel Sarah Chen's voice came through on a private line. "The fate of the galaxy rests on this battle. Miguel, show them what humanity can do." "Understood, Colonel," Miguel replied, a determined smile on his face. "We won't let Earth down." The battle began with a blinding flash, as the void swarm unleashed its energy-absorbing weapons. But this time, the Allied fleet was ready. "Now," Miguel shouted. On his command, the Earth and Lumina ships activated their new secret weapon, the Light Burst Array. Streams of carefully calibrated light shot out from the Allied ships, striking the void swarm vessels. As Dr. Patel had predicted, the dark ships began to shudder and convulse, overloaded by the specific frequency of energy they couldn't process. In the thick of the battle, Lieutenant Zara Okoye led a squadron of mixed human and alien fighters. Her voice crackled over the comm. "Remember the drills. Humans provide cover fire. Lumina, use your phase shift tech to get in close." The coordination between the different species was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Human adaptability and courage combined with alien technologies to create a fighting force that kept the void swarm off balance. Back on the Prometheus, alarms blared as a group of void ships broke through the lines, heading straight for the flagship. "Evasive maneuvers," Miguel called out. The massive ship moved with surprising agility, dodging the worst of the attack. Aria's voice cut through the chaos. "Captain, I'm detecting a pattern in their movements. They're protecting something in the center of their formation." Miguel's eyes narrowed. "The High ship. That must be where they're coordinating from. If we can take it out." He didn't need to finish the thought. Everyone on the bridge understood. This could be the key to victory. Miguel opened a channel to the entire fleet. "All ships, focus fire on these coordinates. We found their weak point." The Allied fleet responded immediately, concentrating their firepower on the center of the void swarm. The light burst arrays blazed, carving a path through the dark ships. On the Prometheus, Miguel watched the tactical display intently. "We're almost there," he muttered. "Just a little more." Suddenly, a massive explosion lit up space. The void swarm high ship erupted in a spectacular blast of light and dark energy. For a moment, everything seemed to pause. Then, chaos erupted among the void swarm. Without their central coordinator, the dark ships began to move erratically, colliding with each other and flying off in random directions. A cheer went up across the Allied fleet as they pressed their advantage. Ship after ship of the void swarm fell to the combined might of Earth and its new allies. Hours later, as the last of the void ships retreated or were destroyed, Miguel slumped in his captain's chair, exhausted but triumphant. "We did it," Arya said, her voice filled with awe. "We actually did it." Miguel nodded, a tired smile on his face. "Send word to Earth. The battle is won." As the news spread across the fleet and back to their home worlds, the realization began to sink in. This wasn't just a victory. It was a turning point for the entire galaxy. Humanity, asleep for 500,000 years, had returned to the galactic stage in spectacular fashion. They had united different species, combined technologies in innovative ways, and turned the tide against an enemy that had seemed unstoppable. As the Allied fleet began the journey home, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter. The galaxy was entering a new age, and humanity was at the forefront of it all. The grand hall of the newly established Galactic Council buzzed with excitement. Representatives from hundreds of alien species filled the room, their diverse forms creating a living tapestry of colors and shapes. At the center of attention stood Colonel Sarah Chen, now Admiral Chen, Earth's representative to the galaxy. As Sarah took her place at the podium, a hush fell over the crowd. Her voice, translated into countless alien languages, rang out clear and strong. "Friends, allies, fellow citizens of the galaxy," she began. "A year ago, Earth awakened from a 500,000-year slumber to find a galaxy in peril. Today, we stand united, having faced that peril together and emerged victorious." Cheers erupted from the assembled delegates. The defeat of the Void Swarm was still fresh in everyone's minds, a testament to what could be achieved through unity and cooperation. As the applause died down, a tall, serpentine alien slithered forward. "Admiral Chen," it hissed, its voice oddly melodic. "I am Sathrix of the Naga Collective. We have long hidden from the Void Swarm, but your victory has given us courage. We formally request to join your alliance and offer our cloaking technology in exchange." Before Sarah could respond, other delegates began to speak up. "The Aetherian Syndicate also wishes to join," called out a being of pure energy. "As does the Zorlath Empire," boomed a hulking, four-armed creature. Sarah raised her hands, calling for quiet. "We welcome all who wish to join in our mission of peace and mutual defense. Earth and its current allies will be honored to work alongside you all." As the meeting continued, Dr. Aiden Patil sat in his lab back on Earth, surrounded by holographic displays showing data from across the galaxy. His team, now a mix of humans and aliens, worked tirelessly to integrate the flood of new technologies being shared. "It's incredible," Aiden muttered to himself. "The Naga cloaking tech, combined with our phase shift drives, we could revolutionize space travel." Meanwhile, on a distant world, Lieutenant Zara Okoye, now Captain Okoye, led a mixed team of human and alien soldiers on a peacekeeping mission. They moved through a war-torn city, helping civilians and mediating conflicts. A small alien child, its skin a pale blue, looked up at Zara with wide eyes. "Are you really from Earth? The world that slept for so long?" Zara knelt down, smiling warmly. "Yes, I am. And we're here to help make the galaxy a safer place for everyone." Back in the council hall, the meeting was wrapping up. Sarah stood with Commander Zix of the Lumina, watching as delegates mingled and formed new connections. "I never imagined this day would come," Zix said, his iridescent skin shimmering with emotion. "For so long we fought alone against the darkness. Now look at us all, united and strong." Sarah nodded, her eyes scanning the room. "It's a new era for all of us. But we can't forget the challenges that still lie ahead." As if on cue, Captain Miguel Rice approached, his face serious. "Admiral, we've received reports of Void Swarm remnants regrouping in the Outer Rim. It seems our work isn't done yet." Sarah straightened, her expression determined. "Then we'll face it together, as we did before. Alert the Council. It's time to show the galaxy what our united front can really do." As word spread through the hall, the atmosphere shifted from celebration to resolute determination. Species that were once bitter enemies now stood side by side, ready to face the coming challenge together. In that moment, Sarah realized the true impact of humanity's return. They hadn't just won a war. They had changed the very fabric of galactic society. Earth, once a forgotten legend, was now a beacon of hope and unity for countless worlds. As the council session ended and plans were made, ships from 100 worlds prepared to depart. The combined fleet, a symbol of this new galactic alliance, would soon head to the outer rim. Earth's long sleep had ended, and now the entire galaxy was wide awake, united, and ready to forge a new future among the stars. 5 years had passed since Earth's dramatic return to the galactic stage. The planet, once hidden and forgotten, now stood as the heart of a thriving interstellar civilization. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, a massive space habitat orbiting Earth. She watched as ships from 100 worlds came and went, a constant flow of people, goods, and ideas. "Quite a view, isn't it?" a familiar voice said behind her. Sarah turned to see Captain Miguel Reyes, his uniform now adorned with the insignia of the Galactic Peacekeeping Force. Sarah nodded, a smile on her face. "Sometimes I still can't believe how far we've come." Their conversation was interrupted by a bright flash in the sky. A new ship emerged from hyperspace, its sleek design unlike anything they'd seen before. "Ah," Miguel said, checking his datapad. "That must be the Zephyr, Dr. Patel's latest creation." Down in the docking bay, Dr. Aiden Patel waited anxiously as the Zephyr landed. The ship's hull shimmered, seeming to blend with the surrounding space. As the airlock opened, a mixed crew of humans and aliens emerged, led by Captain Zora Okoye. "Well," Aiden asked, barely containing his excitement. "How did she perform?" Zora grinned, her eyes sparkling. "Like a dream, Doc. The new Infinity Drive cut our travel time in half, and the adaptive camouflage worked perfectly. We mapped 3 new star systems without anyone even noticing we were there." Aiden pumped his fist in triumph. "Excellent. Wait until the council hears about this. The possibilities for peaceful exploration are endless." Meanwhile, in a large auditorium on Earth, Commander Zix of the Lumina was giving a lecture to a group of eager students from across the galaxy. Holographic displays showed the history of the Void Swarm conflict and the subsequent peace. "And so," Zix concluded, his iridescent skin glowing softly, "we learned that our greatest strength lies not in technology alone, but in our ability to come together, to combine our unique perspectives and abilities." A young Naga student raised her hand. "But sir, what about the rumors of new threats emerging from beyond the galaxy's edge?" Zix's expression turned serious. "Ah, yes, the unknown still exists, young one. But now we face it together, as a united galaxy." Back on Harmony Station, Sarah and Miguel were joined by Guardian, the AI that had watched over Earth for 500,000 years. Its holographic form flickered to life beside them. "Admiral, Captain," Guardian said, its voice calm as ever. "I've completed my latest analysis of galactic trends. I'm pleased to report that interspecies cooperation is at an all-time high. Scientific advancements are accelerating at an unprecedented rate." Sarah nodded, but her brow furrowed slightly. "And the remaining Void Swarm forces?" "Contained," Guardian replied. "The Outer Rim patrols have been highly effective." However, the eye paused, its expression shifting. "I've detected some anomalies in deep space. It may be nothing, but we should be prepared," Miguel finished. "I'll alert the peacekeeping force. We'll increase long-range patrols." As they discussed plans, a group of children, human and alien alike, ran past, laughing and playing. Sarah watched them go, a warm smile spreading across her face. "You know," she said softly, "seeing that makes all our efforts worthwhile." Miguel nodded in agreement. "We've given them a galaxy of peace and opportunity. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together." As the day wound down, Sarah found herself back on the observation deck, gazing out at the stars. Earth glowed blue and green below, more beautiful than ever. She thought about the long journey that had brought them here. From 500,000 years of sleep to becoming the cornerstone of a galactic civilization, they had faced challenges, made new friends, and changed the very fabric of interstellar society. Yet, as Guardian's warning echoed in her mind, Sarah knew their greatest adventures might still lie ahead. New frontiers waited to be explored, new challenges to be overcome. But now, they wouldn't face them alone. Humanity had not just returned to the stars. They had brought the stars together. As ships continued to buzz around Harmony Station, as scientists made new breakthroughs, as peacekeepers maintained vigilance, and as children of 100 worlds played together, Sarah felt a profound sense of hope. The future was unfolding before them, vast and full of possibilities. And humanity, awakened from its long slumber, was ready to help shape that future, side by side with their new galactic family.